Yes, because I take a lot of family studies classes, so I know a lot about it.
I am aware of male privilege. Somewhat.
Yes.
No,
What is it?
I need to understand what do you mean by male privilege?
Yes.
Male privilege? I've never been privileged, and I'm a male.
I would.
I think 9 times out of 10 it would be me.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot about just like how you present yourself in like the interview.
Oh, I would win over anybody, male or female.
I guess depending on who's interviewing them, if it's a man interviewing both of them, I think that the man might take the woman less seriously and maybe give slight advantage to the man.
Well, I would hope that the person that's best qualified would be hired. It depends on who's doing the interviewing.
I actually think that the person that was more qualified or who did a better job at the interview would get the job.
Men tend to do better in work situations.
Because history has shown us that men are valued more. I won't say valued, but by society valued more in the workplace.
No.
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 No, nothing that would bother me.
Well, usually when I go out to a bar, I feel sexually violated. Since I am a fairly big-chested individual, guys always hit on me without my consent and always think that I'm like going to be interested in them, trying to buy me drinks and like assume that things will come from it when I have no intention of doing that.
I've also felt kind of uncomfortable walking alone at night when I'm dressed up. I felt that men will sometimes make comments or stare, and that definitely makes me feel uncomfortable or threatened. So I usually, when it's nighttime, I'll make sure that I'm either walking with a friend or, especially a guy, I would feel most comfortable with. And then that's not really as bad during the daytime. Sometimes you'll have some people whistle at you or make some comment, but I definitely say it's worse at nighttime when I'm dressed up.
In the workplace, during my youth, it was not unusual for a male to make advances to a female. And even though I was in a professional setting, teaching, you have very little comeback. But growing up in that period of time, you learned mechanisms as a female to diffuse any male that would come on to you. And generally, it was a male who had power over you.
A successful man.
Player, or like in a more positive way than the girl.
Would maybe see it as like a good thing. Kind of like he's like a stud, he sleeps around with a lot of women.
They are admired by their peers.
He's maybe a ladies' man.
Maybe very different for a woman who sleeps around with a lot of men. She's kind of looked down upon, looked at as like a slut, a whore, like easy, and like kind of like a lot of like guys will like take advantage of her, and like girls will kind of like look down on her and not really respect her.
I think she would be labeled as a slut or easygoing.
Yeah, because girls will look like whore if they did that.
Promiscuous, not acceptable.
She would have a bad reputation.
It really depends where I am professionally.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
No. Why would I change my name? Isn't that what girls supposed to do?
think men have some advantages over women in society, and I think certain things, men are taken more seriously than women in certain aspects of society.
I lived it. I hated it. I put in many more hours than my male counterparts and received less compensation.
I think just the society, probably more in prior generations, did offer men certain privileges that women were not entitled to. Best example I can think of off the top of my head is voting. Women had to fight for many years to be able to have the privilege of voting.
There's never been a woman president ever.
They have it a lot easier in the workforce. Like, just for example, they get paid more than us, so that in itself is an advantage. They get paid more for doing the exact same job.
Men sometimes will get more like maybe opportunities to make more money and stuff like that than women do sometimes in society.
Males make more money in the workplace.
Men have an easier time of doing certain things or getting certain things done in society.
I think a lot of times things are asked of people according to their sex.
They can, in some instances, get away with doing some things like morally that like sometimes like a woman would be viewed like negatively for doing.
I think it just comes with a lot of stereotypes. Something like they're better at doing certain things, like moving something or fixing something.
Thanks to this interview process, I'm more aware